Hi, I'm going to put together this video to have some clarification because I noticed there's a few of you that had questions about this. I'm making this video to clarify to everybody to understand what I would like for you to do with your index page and how it's linked to your um, assignment with it. So just a clarification here. Let me put together this Word document here. Before you get started on this thing, I would like for you to complete, you should have your coding of your index page that I gave you from the prior exercise with it, and I'm going to go over that. I need for you to log on to your Google Drive, have that ready in your browser with it. So I want to do that in a second. Let me reiterate on what I like for you to do. First thing is have your index page over here coded, and I'm going to go over that. Log into your Google Drive with it. So let me pull up what that looks like in your browser. So here's so I have a folder. You should have a folder, www, 3Ws with your first dot, first initial, uppercase, in your full last name, uppercase, the first letter with it. In my case, it's Dan, uppercase, the D, and no spaces, uppercase, the D for Dow, like in your first name, and with it inside that folder, I have this file structure. Now I'm going to replace, I have to mirror this file structure exactly how it is on my local drive. Okay, this is the web server. This is the cloud or the web server. All right. The third thing I need everybody to have is to make sure you have your complete exercise done here 2 and 3. So if you're working on your exercise, make sure you have everything the same. What I have over here. So over here, if you look at the way how I just created a file, let me go ahead and pull that Word document for class exercise number 3 with it. So in here, I ask you to create for tasks A, B, and C. This is class exercise number 3. I asked you to create these files when you watch the videos with it, right? Styles, formatting, and quotation. So let me just go in here for now. For example, in class exercise number 3, I'm going to create a file. Let's call this styles.html. That's one of them. And, like I said, so let me just, not to confuse everybody with it, I have a hello world in here, so bear with me for a moment with it. So let me just copy that. After, this is incomplete, by the way, right? You know that, right? So you need to watch the video to complete this. So this is what I need for you to do is, so assume that this is the, after you watch each part of this, and I 2 videos with it, and you would actually do exactly what the video I asked you to do. I asked you to do this on Notepad IDE with it. That's all right. Do this. If you look at the way how you open your folder with it, have everything in this file structure the way I have it, and assuming that you will create this file called styles with it, right? I need for you to link from your index page to your style. So this is my index page right here with it. So let me go over some of this code in the index page. Like I said, some of this stuff is going to, I just did this a few minutes ago. I just put this together with it. Just to let you know, I don't know if you could see this or not. So let me talk you through this. This is what's called internal or embedded CSS with it. It's between the head section of your code and it's between your style tags with it. So instead of doing 3 separate definitions with it, I did table, and I gave with the attributes and properties. I did the table header, comma, table header, and table data. So I defined 3 of these things with it. Think of it like a definition in a dictionary. And this is the definition. This is the word. This is the definition in it, or what we call as the properties in it. So you think of this as kind of like the elements, and this part, the border, would be what's called an attribute, and each one of these would be called properties, and they all end in a punctuation with a semicolon. So I'm going to give this table a border of 1 pixel. This is the border thickness. It's going to be solid. I want a black border. The border will collapse, when I actually expand and close out of it as well. So this is just a definition of what are the elements. Elements are tables, TH and TD are what's called elements in there. All of this belong between a tag that's called style. This is the beginning of the tag. This is the closing of that tag. All this is nested inside a head tag, so head to head. So this entire part is going to be loaded before your HTML page is going to be loaded into the browser with it. All right. Now we get into the body. This is the what's called the element with it. The attribute is to align this entire table. I want to center it. I want to give this entire table of a width of 80% with it. So this is what's called the style. It's in quotation. Anything is in quotation is the properties with it, right? So you're welcome to do this or class exercise number 2. It doesn't really matter how I did the tables with it. I put this together a few minutes with it. Inside the table, you have a table row. The table header in this case is the TH. This TH is this TH. This table is this table. All right. So just to keep things in order here. So inside of this, I gave it an attribute of col span, meaning column spanning over 3 columns, right? So that's the column. And I wanted to put this thing in here that says, welcome to Dan Dow homepage. Like I said, bear with me. I don't expect you to grasp this at this time. All this is this row right here. So let me show you what this row looks like. So all this is here with it, right? So this is a whole table row. I'm spanning across 3 columns. First column, second column, third column. Now, remember now, I gave this width of 80%. So each of the table header in here, I want to divide up. I have to divide 3 columns. I have to add up to 80%. All right. So 100%, that's what I mean, right? This entire table, these 3 columns have to add up to 100%, which adds up to 80% of the entire page. Does that make sense? That's what I have is this 80 right here. 80 is 80% of the entire browser, and this table adds up to be 100% of the table, all right? So the table, I have to define this for this table date or dates. I gave this 11%. It's arbitrary. You can give this 10. If you give this 10, then you give this 25. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to quibble over that. The assignment column, I gave a 24%. The description column, I gave that little description. Write as much as you can on the assignment what you do here with as well. So here's what I want to ask you. I ask you to do, for example, I'd like for you can link the class exercise number 3. But you know, I want to do this hello world, so you can link the hello world. So the hello world, this is what I want to link. I want to link this hello world to go inside of this hello world.html. Now, please note, where are you coming from and where are you going to? That's what I want you to look at. You're coming from is the outside. I call this outside because you're in the outside as index, and you're going to go to your hello world.html means that you have to go through the class ex3 folder. Does that make sense? So you're going through a door or a room, however analogy you want to think about it, a folder with it. So to get to the hello world from index, you're going in. Very important, right? So if you recall in the first exercise in here, I'm going to do is an anchor link, href, right, equal. And you notice I put equal, it kind of tells me, it's going to ask me, remember now this is hello world. Hello world is in class ex3, which is this right here, right? I'm going to open that. Now I have to put this in a quote. I didn't start the quote yet. And then, hang on. Yikes. I hate that. So this is what I'm going to cheat a little bit, okay? I'm going to use the / here, and then so actually, then I'm going to go back. Bear with me. I'm typing. I'm talking at the same time. So if you do this the way how I do it, you won't have a problem with it. So do this with me. You know, just follow along with me with it. I do a quote, and then I do a forward slash with it. Technically, I want then cell IntelliSense to kick in with it. So I'm coming from the index. I have to go through the class EX3, right? So it's going to be class EX3, this folder right here. And forward slash is to go inside the folder. And the file I like to go inside is called hello world.html. Close that quote, close that tag, and between that tag, I want to say hello world is the name of the file. So if you bear with me, I'm going to save this because I have a little, I'm up here looking at my my index file right now. It has a little dot on there with it. So this is going to link this file right here, and I have it over here. And the moment I'm going to save this with it, you should notice that hello world popped up, and I'm going to click on this hello world on the right hand side, click on it. Well, it says I can't get to it. Guess what? Because I misspelled it, right? So look, I have to put the D in there. I misspelled that. So again, there goes that little dot on there. Control S saves it. Let me get back to this as well. Click on it. It's still kind of with it as well. Let me refresh this in a second here. Refresh this. Hello world. There you go. So I'm in my hello world, which is this page right here. All right. So I need a link that takes me back to the index page, right? I need a link that takes me back to the index page. So in this page right now, let me take that out. This is the hello world that we just did right now. And let me save this so this link will go away with it. So I need a link from this page back to the index page. Watch how I do this. I need to put an anchor link in this thing again, right? Let me just tab in, do href for hyperreference, right? And I hit equal, and if I hit a forward slash, it drops down. You see that? And it's going to ask me, where do you want to go? Now this file is, I'm going out. I'm going from inside the folder of class EX3 to index. So what do I have to do? What do I have to do? So if you recall in the DOS command I gave in the first exercise with it, I had you do cd ... and all that stuff with it as well. So if you do this for me, all right, if you do ... forward slash, you see, ... means back up to the parent directory, meaning what? Your location, you have to know where you're coming from. You're coming from is the hello world.html. You have to back up to the class EX3 to go to the index. So here I see my index. I click on it. It writes it for me. I close the right angle bracket. It closes the forward slash. The A is the closing of that tag. I say back to index page. Like that. Okay? I'm going to save this. Command save. This pops up in my browser. All right. So I click back, and I'm linking back and forth between these two pages. I would like for you to do this on all of your pages. Meaning what? Every one of these exercises that you do here, every one of these pages that you do here, I will this right here for task A, B, and C. And there's some more pages. Any HTML page that you create, I need for you to put a back link to it. Now, this is very important. This is very important. I want you to practice this because one of the things I need to tell you is this right here to understand this. You will get more practice in class exercise number 5 doing this, excuse me. So let's say, for example, I have a subdirectory. I'm going to create a subdirectory for class EX3, right? I'm going to create a subdirectory. You don't have to do this. Don't do this. This is not part of the assignment. But I'm going to call this thing subdirectory. Let's call this class EX3A. Okay, I put an A after that. So class EX3A is a subdirectory of class EX3. Can you see that up here with it? Inside of this, I'm going to copy. Let me just copy the file. All right. So I'm going to copy this file just for a purpose of demonstration on this as well with it. I want to paste that file in here. You see that? So I have a hello world, but we're going to change this up a little bit with it. So let me rename this. I'm going to call this hello. Instead of hello world, I'm just going to put a 1 after it. So it's two different files so you can see. Now, let's practice this. How do I go from index? Here's my index file. Index. I want it to go from my index to my hello world.html. 1. I want to go to hello world1.html. All right. First of all, what do? What do I need to start out with? I need to start out with, I'm going to put a comma, I need an anchor link, right? href, right? Let me word wrap this so you can see view word wrap. All right. And I'm going to put an equal sign with it, and I want to put a quote / right? So how do I go from index? I have to go through my class ex3 and then class ex3a and then hello world 1. You see that? So I could do that, or I don't know why my IntelliSense didn't kick in with it. I really wanted my IntelliSense to kick in to show you that with it, but class ex3 / to change the directory, class ex3a, is this folder, and then the name of the file is hello world with a 1.html, and I close that off with a quote, close that quote and that, and I'm going to say hello world 2, okay, or 1, or whatever you want to call this thing. All right, so this is the 1 file that we just did. So let's come back here to this browser right here. Let's look at this index page right now with it. Command S right now. I want to take this page right here. Let me Command S saves it, right? Right mouse click on it, open with live server. All right, so here's my hello world, right? And I need to, which works from hello world, from index to hello world works fine. But go into your hello world 1.html for me, which is this. Remember now, this is my point. The ... tells you every time you do a ... backs up to the parent directory. So how many directory do I need to go through to get to the index? 1, class ex3a, 2, class ex3. That's at the same level as my index, right? So watch how I do this. Watch. Let me delete this. So every time I do a ... / it backs me out, right? So that's one layer. Do I see my index file yet? No. ... / Now do I see my index? Here it is. All right. So I had to back up 2 directory. I have to do ... twice to get to my index. Now you're going to have far more practice in this in class size number 5. Believe me. All right. But I want to demonstrate the ... concept here is to back out a directory. You have to know where you're coming from and where you're going to, and when you're going inside, when you're going out, from the inside going out, you would do the ... The outside going in, you don't do the ... You just do a forwards. You just name the directory and you go inside that directory to get to that file. Does that make sense? So you have to know where you're coming from and where you're going to. That's the purpose of this exercise, is to clarify this with it as well. So let me check how long this video is. I don't want to get too long with it. Oh, it's 18 minutes. I need to stop right now. This concludes part 1.